Greetings, YouTubers, and welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts video. It's been a long time, and I have a few things accumulated. You can see here on the bed. I have some VHS tapes. I have some upgrades to my Scream Factory. I have some DVDs that I picked up. I got a lot of stuff here. Let's go through it. This will probably be a pretty decent length video. I'm not going to show you everything today. There's a couple of posters I want to show you in a separate video that's incredibly rare, and then I have a signed up TCM2 poster. I'll show that in a separate video. And I have a Barbara Steele item that's pretty awesome. I'm going to show that in a separate video as well. But if you're interested in seeing what I picked up over the last, I think it's been a couple of months since I recorded a video. And by the way, the girls are here. They wanted to say hi, Hannah and Heidi. If you're interested in seeing what I picked up over the last couple of months, stick around, get a bowl of popcorn, get a beverage of your choice, kick your feet up, and let's check out these movies. So before I get into any of the movies, I wanted to give a big shout out to a YouTuber who I've been watching quite a bit lately. His name is Matt, and his channel is called 2 Feet Outdoors. And he is, I'm not sure if he lives in Jersey or New York, but he does a lot of, not canoeing, kayaking, hiking type videos. And he gives a little bit of history, some really fascinating, beautiful shots of some of the places that he travels, and I strongly recommend checking out his channel. I'll leave his link down below. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pause it here. I don't have permission to use any of his video footage, but I did tell him I would give him a shout out. I'm going to show you his page, and I'll go show you a couple of his thumbnails and some of the videos that he creates, and I really strongly recommend. He has a perfect formula for a YouTube channel. He's a really down-to-earth, nice guy. He has really excellent filming techniques. I mean, his filming, it's unbelievable how, I'm not sure what kind of equipment he has, but he does a lot of solo traveling. But he has, I don't know how he gets the views that he does. It's just amazing. And he goes to really cool places. So let me pull up his page really quick, and maybe I can, interest you in going over, checking him out, telling him I said hello and I sent you, and you can subscribe to his channel. It's not going to be long before this guy's channel blows up. Let's go check it out. So this is Matt's channel. He's called 2 Feet Outdoors. I think he's been doing this for about a year, maybe a little bit more than a year. And he has over 52,000 subscribers already. It's not going to be long before this guy blows up, and he's going to have a huge channel. But I just want to kind of go through and show you some of the topics that he talks about. So his latest video, which I started watching the other day, I didn't get a chance to finish it, but he explored a $100 million abandoned resort. He does a lot of camping too. This was an excellent one, the Toxic Factory that he went to. Every once in a while, he will have a collaborator with him. There's a lot of like New York stuff that I really enjoy watching, and he shows really some spectacular views, areas that I never really expected to see, and there's a lot of really cool weather. It's almost tropical in certain areas, and it's just not the New York that I expected or that I envisioned. He went to this Jaws Creek where there was some shark attacks back in the, I think it was the 1930s or 40s, something like that. He's really amazing, man. This guy is really, really cool. And I needed him at this point in my life, because when Adam died, Adam the Woo, who I'm sure a lot of you guys followed him too, there's kind of a hole in my heart for him now, because he was a daily uploader, and it was almost like he was a friend. We never met, but he was everybody's friend. Everybody felt like they knew him. But this is another guy who's very similar to that. I decided in the year 2026, I'm only going to surround myself with positive people. So I have cut out some very negative people in my life. I can't deal with the negativity anymore. So this guy was a breath of fresh air for me. And you can see that he has some really, I wish I could show you some clips of his videos, but I don't have permission. I'm not going to go do that. But I strongly recommend that you check him out. He goes camping on like deserted islands, and I mean, he just shows some really, really cool stuff. Some really excellent videos here. So I will leave his link down below. Go check out Matt. And even if you don't want to tell him that I sent you, I strongly recommend checking him out. I think there's something that you'll definitely enjoy watching on his channel. So let's get back to the movies. Okay, so we're back to the movies here now. Everybody's back in place. Hannah and Heidi are still here. I think we're going to get into the Scream Factory upgrade pile first, and then we'll get into a couple of DVDs. But this is the 4K Blu-ray edition of Black Sunday. This is a really good movie. This is one of Bava's best. This might be number 2. Kill Baby Kill's pretty good. Bay of Blood is really good. This is right up there in his top 3, top 5 for sure. This one's really good. This is a nice edition that was put out by Scream Factory. The original movie came out in, was it 61? 1960. So you do get, it's a 2-disc set, like I said. You get the 4K and the Blu-ray. Some pretty good special features here. Audio commentary, a couple new ones. So you get some new tidbits of information. And I'm really glad to upgrade that to 4K. I have a Barbara Steele piece that I'm going to show in a separate video, but it has to do with this movie. The next one is a Sam Raimi movie, and this is a movie that I really enjoy. This is called Drag Me to Hell, and this is the original cover from Scream Factory. This is the alternate cover. It's the same exact movie, just 2 different covers. There you can see the Gypsy Witch. And if you haven't seen this movie, check it out. It's a great movie. Very, very creepy. If you like the witchcraft type movies with curses and, you know, stuff like that, definitely check this out. It has a really good cast too. There's the Gypsy Witch again. And she just recently passed away about a year ago, I think. I'm trying to find her name. Lorna Raver, her name was right there. Lorna Raver. So she's no longer with us, but she played a great role as the Gypsy Witch. There's Justin Long was in the movie. Really, really cool cast, and this was a very fun movie. Glad to have that upgrade. Next is a movie that I didn't really like the very first time I saw it. And the first time I had it was on this Steelbook. This is the Blu-ray Steelbook that was put out by Sony when the movie first came out. I think it was 2013. I may be wrong about that, but it's been out for a while now. And I didn't really like it, but I wanted to give it a second chance. So I bought the 4K Scream Factory edition, and I rewatched it, and I still don't really like it. It doesn't feel like an Evil Dead movie to me. And Evil Dead Rises, I didn't really like that one as much too. I know there's probably a lot of people groaning and moaning right now. It just wasn't my cup of tea. But there's also a Scream Factory Steelbook that I don't know if I'll pick it up. It's almost the same exact thing as this, only it's a 4K. This is just a Blu-ray. This is the 4K here. But I wish I liked it, but I would give it probably like a 4.5 out of 10. That's just my take. I know some people love this movie, and that's fine. You still can. It's just not my thing. And I picked up Time Cop, which is a movie that I have never seen, and I still haven't watched it yet. The reason I hurry up and grabbed this one is because I heard at the time, the slipcovers were becoming very scarce. And this was a couple of months ago when I bought this, so I think the slipcover is probably sold out now. I'm not sure. But this is the 4K Blu-ray of Time Cop. It sounds like a fun time. I just haven't watched it yet. This is a movie from the 90s, 1994. And you don't get a whole lot in the way of special features, but you know, you do get the muscles from Brussels, and it's always fun to watch sci-fi type movies. So I'm sure I'll like this, but I haven't watched it as of yet. If anybody has and you want to comment on, go ahead, leave a comment below. And the last one from Scream Factory for this video is My Bloody Valentine. Again, this was another slipcover that was going scarce, I guess, or going out of print, selling out, I guess. So I grabbed it before it sold out. And this is the 4K Blu-ray. This is a great movie. I have this movie many, many different times. Look at all the bonus features you get on this particular edition. That is pretty amazing. And it's a good slasher film, too. This is the original one from 1981. There has been a remake of this. It's also pretty good, too. But the OG here, the original, this one is really, really good. Now, the next one here is a DVD. We're going to pull some DVDs here now for a little bit. And this is a heavy metal slasher horror movie with a pretty good heavy metal soundtrack to it. This is a kind of a lesser known movie called Rocktober Blood. And the company that owns the rights to this right now, they are releasing this on Amazon as a made to burn on demand type movie. So this is actually, it's an official release, but it's a burned copy. I'll take it out and I'll show you what I mean. It has the purple tinge to it. But you can buy this on Amazon, and I think it's like $12 or something like that. Now, there was some rumblings a couple of years ago anyway from Terror Vision that they were going to release this on Blu-ray in a nice little set. But I'm not sure if that's still going through or if it got held up somehow. I don't know. But they were going to release this on Blu-ray. We'll see. Hopefully they will at some point. This is definitely worthy of a Blu-ray release. And this was made by the Sebastians, Ferd and Beverly. And they were the ones who made the Gator Bait movies, Gator Bait 1 and Gator Bait 2, which Terror Vision also released those in a box set. And Terror Vision should release this on Blu-ray. I hope they do. But I'm going to take it out of the little baggie I have, and I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. There's not really a whole lot to it. I just want to show you what the disc looks like. So it does have, you know, some pretty decent cover art. I don't know if the Sebastians still own the rights to this or not. And then that's what, obviously, you know what a burned copy looks like. It's manufactured on demand. So when you buy it on Amazon, I assume that they burn you one and just send it to you. But did I say what year this was? I think it was from the early 80s, like 83. Let me double check that. But there's some of the screen grabs there. And there is the synopsis. If you want to pause it, you can read that. And I'm going to find out what year this came out for you, and then we're going to move on. So Rocktober Blood came out in 1984. Here's another, sticking to that same theme of heavy metal slasher horror movies. I have a couple more I'm going to show you that I owned already. And this is the Synapse Films edition DVD of Black Roses. This is probably one of the better heavy metal horror movies. And look at that cover, man. That's beautiful. The heavy metal horror classic, they're calling it. This was another movie from the 80s, 1988. And this was put out by Synapse in 2007. But you do get some special features, and I just wanted to kind of point out a couple more movies that have the same theme as Rocktober Blood. So that's definitely worthy of a watch right there. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And from 1986, same theme, heavy metal horror movie called Trick or Treat. This one came out in, like I said, 1986, 97 minutes running time. This was also put out by Synapse Films. This is another good one. They're cheesy, but if you like heavy metal and horror movies, these go pretty good together. And there's one more to show you. From 1987, also from Synapse Films. This one's called Rock and Roll Nightmare. This is the special edition DVD. This is kind of a heavy metal creature feature movie. Creatures in rubber suits. You can see some of the villains here in the back in the rubber suits. These are all pretty good. I enjoy these. Has a pretty good amount of bonus features. So just wanted to kind of share with you some of the heavy metal horror movies if you're interested. So there they are again if you're interested. It's Rocktober Blood. I think you can get all of these pretty affordable. Under 10 bucks, I think, each. Anywhere from maybe 8 to 12 bucks, depending if you buy it used or still sealed. But you get Rock and Roll Nightmare, Trick or Treat, Black Roses, and Rocktober Blood. I picked up a couple of DVDs from Walmart a couple months ago, and the first one here is called Savage Hunt, and I always enjoy the killer animal movies, especially like big grizzly bears and stuff like that, or sharks. They're pretty freaky. So I saw this there with the slipcover. I had to buy it. I thought that looked beautiful. I still haven't watched the movie yet though, but I will. And this is put out by Shout Factory. There is a Blu-ray release. I think this DVD was about $4 cheaper than the Blu-ray, but I wanted it on DVD. So this one came out in 2025. Most likely it was direct to video. I don't remember this being at a theater. But if you want to pause and read the synopsis, you can feel free to do so. But I'm going to keep moving. The next one is the Deathstalker remake on DVD. Again, this also has a Blu-ray release, and I believe it also does have a Steelbook release. But I opted for the DVD, but I think I will track down the Steelbook. They didn't have the Steelbook, and I'm not sure if it was maybe an Amazon exclusive. I don't think it was sold at Walmart, at least not that I'm aware of. But I thought this DVD looked pretty amazing, and I still haven't watched this yet. But I enjoy these type of movies, the sword and sorcerer type movies. This was also put out by Shout Factory. If you want to read a little bit about the synopsis, go ahead and do that. You can see some of the characters from the movie. That looks pretty amazing. You have some special features. Really glad to have that. I'm going to track the Steelbook down. Here is a trauma movie that was filmed in the state that I live in, the great state of Wisconsin. This was filmed mostly in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and some of the outlying areas in the woods, but this is called Blood Junkie. It's a movie from 2010. And I think Trauma bought the rights to this in 2011, and they released it on DVD. This is one that's been on my wish list for a while, so I picked it up. I bought this on eBay. I bought it used for, I think, $7, and this thing is like brand new, but very low budget. I think they spent $6,000 making this movie, and from what I heard, it's pretty good. They're giving it pretty decent ratings. I think it's like a 5.5 on IMDb, which you may think is low, and it's pretty low, but for $6,000, and it's better than the next movie I'm going to show you, which had a bigger budget. But I thought that cover looks cool. I think the title's awesome, and having a tie to my hometown, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I'm pretty glad to have this one. Blood Junkie. This next one is an AGFA and Something Weird. Oh, I'm sorry, Bleeding Skull release. This one's getting harder to find, and it's pretty expensive. I think I paid almost $30 for this, and it doesn't have a Blu-ray release. There are a couple of fan-made or, bootleg Blu-rays floating around out there, but there has not been an official release on Blu-ray as far as I know, I could be wrong about that, but this is another one I've wanted for a long time. It's called Blood Lake. It's a shot on video. You can see this one got pretty bad ratings. It does have some special features. And this one was made in 1987, I think. Whereas the one I just showed you was made in 2010, and it was made to look like it was in the 80s, the early 80s. This one actually was shot in the 80s, shot on video. So a couple of low-budget horror movies. I'm always looking to add those to the collection, so I'm glad to have these. From Severin Films, I got an upgrade of a movie called The Ghost, starring Barbara Steele. She was a blonde in this movie. She looked gorgeous. This was the DVD I owned previously. Now this movie, it's public domain, so it has a lot of different releases for this particular title. I always liked that cover, so I wanted to get that one, but there are some other cool covers for that. This was put out by Retro Media in conjunction with Bayview. This is a movie from the 60s, and this is a pretty good movie. This is the Severin release, and it has the, I believe this is a Severin website exclusive slipcover, but you can always get them on eBay too. But I don't know if it's sold out or not yet, but this is the 4K edition of it. So this was directed by Ricardo Freda, and the funny thing about this movie is Barbara Steele's in it. Ricardo Freda directed it, and he also did The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock, which I owned already. This is the Vinegar Syndrome 4K box set. But it has the same character of Dr. Hitchcock, although these two movies are not related at all, but it has the same lead actress, the same director, and the same character of Dr. Hitchcock. They have nothing to do with each other, and actually The Ghost is much better than The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock. But they're both really good Italian Gothic movies, and I really do recommend it. This is a movie about betrayal. Several people betray each other all the way to the end. Has a pretty good twist ending. I'm not going to give it away, but I found this very enjoyable, very entertaining, and I recommend it. So I'm glad to upgrade that one. And this one, I would probably give this a 6.5 out of 10, and I would probably give this a 5.5 out of 10. But I mean, that box set itself is beautiful. Just check this out. I own this already, and I showed it before on the channel. But just check out this box set here. Comes in this hard outer shell. I mean, that artwork is just gorgeous. And then you have this slipcover on the inside. Just unbelievable. And it comes with this nice book. So presentation-wise and box set-wise, this is a 10 out of 10, but the movie, sadly, is not. It's still worth a watch, but if you're going to watch them, if you're going to do a double feature of them, watch this one first, because this one's a little bit better. We can transition over to some VHS. Now I got a little stack here of VHS I picked up over the last couple of months, and this is Friday the 13th clamshell. These are really nice editions. Really glad to add that to the VHS collection. I got the IFS edition of Tobe Hooper's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. IFS stands for Ivor Film Services. You don't see this one too much. It has kind of a ragtag label here, but always looking to add to my Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre collections. The next one is The Prowler. This is another kind of a hidden gem. Not too many people talk about The Prowler, but this is a really cool slasher movie from the 80s, 1981, I think. Pull this out. This case is a little brittle, so I got to be careful. These tapes are becoming more and more expensive now. Here's the Rocktober Blood VHS. I just showed you the DVD, but this is the VHS tape. Here's Maniac Cop. I think this is a UK edition. It has the UK rating logo. Have the original Halloween from 1978 on the media label. I'm still looking for the, there's a different media, one that's really rare. I think it's going for like over $100. This is the cool orange tape one. I like this one. And the last VHS tape for this video is The Burning, also from, I believe, 1981. It's a great cover. Really good slasher movie, too. So that was, those were my VHS pickups. I'm going to put these away and we'll continue. Oh, I forgot one more. This was a freebie from one of the sellers that I was buying stuff from. I don't know anything about this movie, but he tossed it in. It's called Nothing But the Night, starring Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. I thought that was pretty nice of him to do that, though. He didn't have to, but he did. I don't know if this is another British release, because they spell it with, they spell color with a U in it, and I think that's a telltale sign that it's either Canadian or British. Okay, so moving right along, at Walmart they had I think this was still part of the Valentine's display of movies that they were releasing with different slipcovers. There were some that had the black border with the red lettering, and I think this came out a little bit after that, but this is Mars Attacks. This is the only one I bought with the pink slipcover. I thought this looked pretty cool, so I grabbed it. I think this is a pretty fun movie. I have this movie a few different times, but I just like that slipcover, and it was pretty cheap, so I grabbed it. And here is a childhood favorite of mine. This is pretty rare. There has never been an official release of this. Every once in a while, there's a fan-made edition that pops up, but I found this, and this is the complete series of The Flying House, which was a anime cartoon from the 80s that was time travel back into the biblical days, and it explores the Bible stories. This is something that my brother and I used to watch when we were kids. So it may not have a lot of sentimental value to you, but this is huge for me, so I was glad to get it. This is the whole entire series on Blu-ray, but it It's about, I think the quality is about 720p, not 1080. So, but I mean, it's better than the VHS rips that you were finding years ago. I think what was happening is somebody was ripping these off of a television program. I think there's probably a Christian network somewhere that's playing these, and they were, I guess, recording them and reproducing them as Blu-ray. But like I said, it's at like 720p, but it still looks pretty good. And let me see, these came out in 1982. I don't remember exactly how many episodes there are, but I think it's like 3 or 4 seasons. And it has 1,248 minutes running time approximately. These are pretty good though. I'm really, really glad to have this. Here's another made-for-TV movie that I really enjoyed. I think this was in the late 90s. This was Merlin, starring Sam Neill, Helena Bonham Carter. There was some really good cast here. You got Rutger Hauer, Isabella Rossellini, Martin Short, James Earl Jones. Really, really good stuff. This was number 1 from 1998. This was, I think it was a 3-hour mini-series. Look at some of the characters there on the back. This was really, really good. Underrated. You never hear anybody talk about this. And then part 2 from 2000 was called Merlin the Return. But I don't think this one had Sam Neill in it. But this was the official sequel to the first one. This was also I think, made-for-TV movie. This was just a movie, 88 minutes, so this was not a mini-series, but it was the sequel to this one. And then part 3 from 2006, Sam Neill came back, and this is called Merlin's Apprentice. Also very, very good. You can see that Merlin aged quite a bit, but this was also a movie, not a mini-series. Let's see if I can, this was a mini-series, 185 minutes, so it was 3 one-hour shows. So this is the order for these. It's 1, 2, and 3 if you want to watch it in order. And then there were a couple of unofficial sequels. There was a 4th one that I don't have. And then this was the 5th one from 2009 called simply Merlin and the Book of Beasts. "92 minutes, so this was a movie. These are fun. And then this last one has nothing to do with the pile I just showed you, but this is a fun movie called The Sorcerer's Apprentice, starring Robert Davey, Kelly LeBrock. And this one came out in 2001. Has nothing to do with the Merlin movies or TV shows, but this was still fun. What was the running time on here? 86 minutes. All right, we'll jump into some 4K and Blu-ray now. We'll get into some boutique stuff. This is the 45th anniversary edition of Friday the 13th, Part 2, with a slipcover. I don't know if the slipcover is in danger of selling out or anything, but I bought this from Amazon a couple of months ago. You get a 4K Blu-ray in a digital code, plus the original poster art on the front that looks really good. I even like that banner across the top. That looks great. It's a really cool edition. You can see Amy Steele. And And for special features, you get Inside Crystal Lake Memories, Friday's Legacy, Horror Conventions, Lost Tales of Camp Blood Part 2, Jason Forever, the original trailer. I got the latest release from Grindhouse Releasing called Palmer Rocky's Scarlet Warning 666. I haven't seen this yet. They were advertising this as one of the worst movies ever made, and I believe the guy who directed this, Rocky Palmer, I think he plays like 5 or 6 different people in this movie. And it's supposed to be one of those movies that's so bad it's good, but I haven't watched it yet. I haven't even unwrapped it. It was limited to 3,000. I got number 2665. I think they are still available, so if you want to go over to their website, Grindhouse Releasing, check it out. It's all region. You get some pretty good bonus features there. There's a bonus CD for the album soundtrack, and you can see how corny that looks. But I really love Grindhouse Releasing, and I like to support them in any way I can because I want them to keep releasing movies, even if they're kind of duds, but usually they're not. But I shouldn't talk about this one without watching it yet, but I don't have high hopes, put it that way. Here's one I picked up on Vinegar Syndrome's website. This was very, very low quantity. I think when I ordered this, there were only 6 left. So this has been out for a while now, but once they sell out, they're gone for good, and you know how that works. The secondary market, they go way up in price. So this was limited to 4,000. I got number 3975. They call me Macho Woman. This is a movie from the 80s. From what I hear, it's kind of trauma-ish type of a movie. I don't really know a lot about it, but let's take a look here on the back. It came out in 1989. 82 minutes running time, all region, and you get some bonus features here. And I'll read a little bit about it to you. It says, Susan Morris thought she could find peace and quiet by escaping the city and moving to a secluded country town. Unfortunately, she's picked the wrong day to go house hunting, as she and her mousy real estate agent stumble on a big money backwoods drug dealing scheme led by the vicious Mongo and his crude gang of inbred thugs. But when the hillbillies take Susan hostage, they quickly realize they've got trouble on their hands, and that the pretty blonde city girl they've tied up is in fact a highly trained killing machine. So you can kind of tell what you're getting into, kind of a trauma-style movie. Here's the reverse cover. I've never seen this movie before, but I'm willing to give it a shot. And being that there were only a couple of these left on Vinegar Syndrome's website, I wanted to grab it before it sold out. So the next one here is from 88 Films. This is part of their Italian collection called Hatchet for the Honeymoon. It's a film by Mario Bava from 1969. This is a really beautiful edition. It's about a guy who, his wife leaves him, divorces him, and he goes on a bloody rampage, killing women. This is a really nice edition, though. This is one I've wanted for a while. I picked it up on eBay, I think about 40 bucks, which is fair market for this. Here's what the Blu-ray case looks like. That's the Italian title. This is number 69, if you're interested in that. Now here it says 1970. On the back of the box it says 69, so pick one, I guess. And the reverse cover just looks like the box set. So I flipped that. Comes with a nice poster. Comes with a thick booklet. Really beautiful. Really nice. And I think this is a fun movie too. I think this is a good effort by Bava. I think this is a fun watch, and I do recommend Hatchet for the Honeymoon. I don't remember if I showed this one, but if I did, it's definitely worthy of another viewing. This is probably Bava's best movie, at least in my opinion, and opinions vary. It may not be your favorite Bava movie, but it's mine. And this is one that heavily influenced the slasher genre, including Friday the 13th. This is a really beautiful edition that was put out by Severin Films. Comes in this really nice box set. It's pretty packed, so I have to be careful, but there's the outer shell. Not a rigid case like you would get on, from Vinegar Syndrome, but it's still very, very sturdy. This should last many, many, many years. Now, there was a disc that was bad, so they sent out, I think it was disc 3. So they sent out an original. This is the bad one, I kept it, but let's see, I think well, first, before we get into the bad disc, you get a 4K of the movie, which looks beautiful. This is the English version, 4K. And then you get the Blu-ray. No, I'm sorry, this is also a 4K. You get the original Italian version on 4K, and you get the Italian re-release version on 4K. And then this is a Blu-ray for the English version. And you get, this is the disc that was replaced. This is the Blu-ray for the Italian version and the re-release Italian version. And then this was the CD soundtrack. That's amazing. And then you can see here on the back, what a beautiful edition this is. You can see all the bonus features that you get. You can see some of the practical effects that they used in the movie. 1971. A slasher film is born. Really a beautiful set. I don't know if this sold out. I'm not sure. It also came with an art card here. This is the CD soundtrack. Just check out all those different tracks for the movie. To me, this is a must-own, and who knows, this may be the last time I have to buy it. I don't know if they're going to come out with a better edition than this, but really glad to have this. I picked up another, this is an alternate cover for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. This is the spot gloss slipcover, limited to 4,000 pieces. Has Chop Top throwing up the peace sign on the back, Part 2. And I'm really glad to have this. I think this is beautiful. And this is what the original release looked like. Comes in this rigid, hard outer shell. This one was limited to 10,000, so that's a lot. This was 4,000. But in case you haven't seen the original one, I had this for a while now. I'm sure most of you have it already. This is another beautiful edition. That's what the slipcover looks like. So I was glad to add this. I don't know if they're still available. I think they do still have some. I think they have over like 1,000 of these still on their website. So if you're interested, go check it out. I don't know if this one's sold out. You can find it on eBay. So a year or two ago, I'm not even sure, I bought this Dragon Slayer Steelbook with a slipcover. This is a beautiful edition. I had this already. I showed it before on the channel. I just think this is unbelievable. This is easily one of my favorite Steelbooks, and it's a good movie too. But I found a seller on Etsy that was selling a hard box. It was supposed to be a hard outer shell to go over the Steelbook, but it's too tight, and I don't want to put my slipcover inside there because it's definitely going to get wear and tear. So I guess I just have this for a collector's piece. I had plans to put the Steelbook in there, but this is really beautiful. This was an Etsy seller. I just think that looks amazing. But unfortunately, I won't use it because I fear that I'll damage the edition here. So it's just going to be a shelf piece. I grabbed some Steelbooks, and I know I told you in a previous video that I would not go down this rabbit hole of all these weird movies that they're releasing. The Banana Splits horror movie, the Bambi horror movie, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and of course we have Screamboat, which is supposed to be Mickey Mouse, featuring David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown. I haven't watched this yet. I had to grab it though. I think there's something wrong with me because I didn't need to grab this, but I did. It was like my hand was a magnet to it, and I grabbed it. I bought it at a Walmart a couple months ago. Haven't watched it yet, but for some reason I'm intrigued, and I can't stop. I can't stop. If anybody has seen this, let me know. I picked up a Scream Factory Steelbook 4K of Dead Silence. This is a good movie. I thought the Steelbook looked pretty cool. Bought this one on Amazon. I think the Steelbook is awesome. But I'm glad to have that. This was the J card for the Dead Silence Steelbook. I don't keep these anymore, so I'll be chucking this one out, but that's creepy. A couple months ago at Walmart, I bought the remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night Steelbook. It comes with a nice slipcover, nice glossy slipcover. Put up by Cineverse, the same company that's been putting out the Bambi and Mickey Mouse and I think Winnie the Pooh. I think those were all Cineverse. But this is what the Steelbook looks like. And I did watch this a couple months ago. I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good rendition remake. So you get the 4K and the Blu-ray there. And there is some background art. Always nice when they put some art in the background or on the back cover instead of leaving it blank. I think this is a pretty cool Steelbook. Again, if you've seen this, let me know how you liked it. And from Scream Factory, this is the Sword and the Sorcerer 4K Steelbook. I think this looks amazing with the kind of comic book style art on the cover. It's a 4K Blu-ray combo. Beautiful. I think I bought this one on Amazon as well. If you put stuff in your cart on Amazon, even if you don't plan on buying it right away, if you're just kind of holding its place for you to kind of remember, oh yeah, I wanted to get that, or oh yeah, I'll add this. Every once in a while, if you have stuff in your cart, they'll alert you that one of the items or several of the items you have in your cart have gone on sale and they've dropped in price. And that was the case with this one. I think it dropped like $3 or $4, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that all adds up, and so I ended up buying this one. I think it was like $26 or something like that when I bought it. So I was glad to get it. So previously, before buying Mutilator 2, which I also got on Amazon, I think it may be an Amazon exclusive, or of course you can get it on eBay now too, but this is the German edition of the movie on DVD. Plus I have a fan-made DVD that I've had for probably over 20 years. I think I showed that a couple times. But this was an official German release of the Mutilator. And this was the Blu-ray that Arrow put out, and this was a really beautiful edition. Because before this came out, there was never really... all they had it on was VHS. There was never a DVD official release, and there certainly wasn't a Blu-ray release. So Arrow Video took care of that, killed two birds with one stone. They put it on DVD and Blu-ray, and this is a great edition. So this was directed by Buddy Cooper, Bloody Buddy Cooper they call him, who was the original director of The Mutilator from the 80s. 1984. The original came out. This came out in 2024, I think, or 2025. I think the only place you can buy this is on Amazon, and I think Buddy Cooper is selling these. This was kind of a tongue-in-cheek, kind of a wink and nod to fans of the original, because this is more comedic than it is horror. And there are a lot of... This movie pays homage to the fan of this movie. If you like the original Mutilator, you'll like this, and you'll get the humor in it. But if you've never seen the Mutilator and you go into this, you're going to be like, what the hell was that? This movie's pretty clever, and I enjoyed this. I thought it was pretty good. There are some familiar faces in there, some familiar YouTube faces. I'm not going to spoil that. If you want to go check it out, you can see some YouTubers who helped to crowdfund this, and in doing so, yeah, I guess if you spent enough money, you can actually get a part in the movie, and you can see a couple of YouTubers in there. Just very small bit parts, and it's more toward the end of the movie. But all in all, I thought this was a fun watch, especially if you're a fan of the original, The Mutilator. I think you'll get a kick out of part 2. So over the past couple of months, I picked up the original Blood trilogy from Herschel Gordon Lewis, and this is the order they go in. From 1963 was Blood Feast. Now, even though I have the really big box set that Arrow put out, 15 years ago or so, I still wanted to add these to the collection, and these are pretty cheap. So this was from 1963. 2000 Maniacs, I think, was from 64, and Color Me Blood Red was from 1965. And these were supposed to be some of the first gore/splatter films ever made, and they're very low budget, but you can tell that they put a lot of heart and soul into the special effects, and Herschel Gordon Lewis was really good at his craft, and he made some really gross, bloody movies, violent movies. They're not very good movies, but they're fun, and they're a part of history. And these are Arrow video releases. Look at all these bonus features you get for these low budget, terrible movies. You get a lot of stuff with these. And then in 2001, Herschel Gordon Lewis came out with Blood Feast 2, which I already had on DVD from Arrow Video, but this is, I just wanted to add this to the video to show you that it is available. I don't know if Blood Feast 2 has a Blu-ray release. I'm sure it does. I just never really looked into it, but that's a really cool DVD from Arrow Video. And that is your Herschel Gordon Lewis Blood trilogy. I picked up a couple of more of the older titles that Arrow Video released early in their catalog. This is a really fun movie called The Annihilators. It's an action-packed revenge type movie. So this crew are all good friends, and they were in the Vietnam War together. And it shows in the beginning of the movie that they were in Vietnam together and how close they were, how tight they were. One of their friends, who's not in this picture, was wounded in the war, and he had to live out the rest of his days in a wheelchair because he became a paraplegic. And when they came back to the United States after the war was over, the paraplegic guy went to work with his father in a kind of a convenience store type thing. They sold like milk and eggs and just a little store. I believe this takes place in Philadelphia. I take that back. I think it was Baltimore. I'm pretty sure this took place in Baltimore. And so some no-good thugs, I'll make this quick. Some no-good thugs come by and they start harassing their paraplegic friend and the father, and something happens to the father. And so the paraplegic calls his buddies and says, hey, come on over to Baltimore. We're going to take care of this neighborhood. We're going to take it back. And as silly as that sounds, it actually works. And this was a really good movie. I remember watching this on VHS back, and this came out in probably like 83. If I remember correctly, and I did watch some of the bonus features, I think they said there was a Chuck Norris movie filming in the same location. Maybe it was Atlanta. I think it was, so I'm all over the place. I think it was Atlanta that they were filming this. And I think Chuck Norris was filming like, I don't remember. I don't want to say and give the wrong answer, but Chuck Norris was on this like multi-million-dollar movie, and these guys were on this very low-budget movie, but it was really good. And I do recommend this. You can see the bonus features there. Yeah, this was a pretty fun movie. If you haven't seen The Annihilators, it's definitely a guy movie. A lot of explosions and kind of, there's a twist at the end of this one too. There's a lot of testosterone in this movie. Check it out if you like that kind of stuff. It's a fun throwback to the 80s. I picked up another Mario Bava movie called Eric the Conqueror. And this was kind of a sword and sandal type movie. This was pretty good. It pits brother against brother, because I'm not going to go too deep into this movie either, but in the beginning of the movie, there was a village that gets invaded by Vikings, and a father gets killed. And at the time, he has two small children. They were twins. And the twins get divided. One of the twins gets taken with the Vikings and raised as a Viking. The other brother stays behind, and they have to kind of face each other again as they're adults. And I'm not going to give it away, but I thought this was pretty fun. It was refreshing to see Bava kind of step out of his comfort zone, which was, you know, Gothic horror and stuff like that, to do kind of a period piece with Vikings and such. And I thought this was pretty good. I would recommend this one. I had a fun time with this. This came out in the 60s, 1961. And here's another Mario Bava movie called The Girl Who Knew Too Much. This is the 3-disc set, which is getting harder to find this one. There's a couple different editions of it. The original one that came out in, I think, 2014. This one came out in 2014. It's a 3-disc set. And then a couple years later, they re-released it. I think it was a 1 or 2-disc set. This one's getting a little harder to find now. This is Mario Bava's The Girl Who Knew Too Much. And this is one of the earlier Giallo movies. This was Bava's kind of wink and nod to Alfred Hitchcock, The Man Who Knew Too Much. He was kind of playing on that. And there were 2 different cuts of this movie. There was an Italian cut that was strictly a horror / Giallo whodunit killer type movie. And then there was a second edition that was kind of Americanized, where they added a little bit of humor to it, and they added a little bit of romance to it. John Saxon plays the lead hunk in this movie. He's pretty young here. And I watched the longer cut of I watched the American. So the Italian version is shorter, and it's in Italian language, but it's a straight up horror movie. Whereas, like I just said, the American version had added humor and romance in it, and that's the one I watched. That's in English language. I'm gonna go back and watch the other one, but because I just want to watch it as a Giallo and a straight up horror movie. But I thought this was a pretty fun movie. Look at all the bonus features. I'm gonna have to cut it short right here and go. We're not done with the video, but I gotta go and charge my phone. The battery's really, really low right now. So I'll be right back. Okay, where were we? We were talking about The Girl Who Knew Too Much. This was Mario Bava's love letter to Alfred Hitchcock. And I thought this was pretty good. I would like to see it without the romance and humor in it, though. But there wasn't really a lot of it. But the very ending was kind of corny. I think that must have been added because it was sort of a romantic scene between John Saxon and what was her name? She was a really, really fetching, beautiful girl. Leticia Roman and John Saxon. So they were lovers here at the end of the movie. So not much more else to say about this, but it's definitely worthy of a watch. And if you're interested, look for the 3-disc edition. And it's a little more collectible, I guess. Girls are back front and center. I wanted to show you some more. I forgot I did find some more VHS at a thrift shop a couple months ago. This one's still sealed. It's a John Wayne movie called The Cowboys. I think I got it for $1 at a Goodwill. It's getting harder and harder to find VHS at Goodwill anymore. I have this one already. This is the Outlaw Josie Wales. It comes in this plastic clamshell. Actually, the one I have is already still sealed, but I bought a second copy of it for $1. Love the movie. It's a great movie. I don't need two. I'll probably end up selling one or trading one at some point. I seriously have to start downsizing. We got another John Wayne. This is called The Searchers. This is one of his best. This is also in a black clamshell. Warner Brothers. $156 minutes. That's a long movie. Over 2.5 hours long. A guy from work was cleaning out his basement and he found some movies. I don't have Jurassic Park or Young Frankenstein on VHS. Well, now I do, but I didn't. So I put those in plastic sleeves. They look pretty good. And he also gave me Muppets from Space, and I didn't think I had it, but I actually do. And I'll take you downstairs and show you the Muppet movies that I have on VHS. So these were the other Muppet movies that I have. This is the Muppet movie. Muppet Classic Theater. The Muppet Christmas Carol, that's a fun one. They're all fun. Muppet Treasure Island, another good one. And Muppets from Space. So I have it twice. All right, then I'll close out the video and talk about, briefly, I'll talk about 3 movies that I recommend that I've watched recently. And the first one is called The Night Visitor, starring Max von Sydow. This movie was amazing. I'm surprised I didn't watch it before now. I think I watched this about 1.5 months or 2 months ago for the first time. And Max von Sydow's character in this movie is framed for a murder that he did not commit, and he's put away in prison. And this prison is supposed to be unescapable. And when you see the prison, it's very intimidating when you see it. The cinematography in this movie is fantastic. It's like a snowy setting. It's like a countryside. It's just an amazing movie. He escapes each night from this prison, and he goes back and he methodically takes revenge. And you have to see it to believe it. It's almost hard to explain, but this movie was amazing. This is a really, really excellent movie. I would give this an 8 out of 10, and that's a pretty high mark for me. This was put out by VCI on Blu-ray, and the movie itself came out in 1979. Is that right? Let me double check that. But it was put out in 2016 by VCI. 102 minutes running time. It's not your typical slasher movie or horror movie at all. It's kind of a mystery suspense type movie, but I really recommend The Night Visitor. Let me double check to see what year this came out. Yes, this one did come out in 1971, and this is a really, really awesome movie. Do check it out. The very ending of this movie, I'm not going to give it away. He almost pulls off a perfect revenge, but one little detail throws him off, and I laughed out loud when I saw it. It's pretty hilarious. This is a really good movie. Who directed this? Laszlo Benedict, produced by Mel Ferrer. So it stars Max von Sydow. It has Liv Ullmann in it, and I'm sure you probably recognize her if you see her. And this guy was really good. His name is Per Oscarsson, and that guy was one hell of an actor. Max von Sydow steals the show, though. This is a really, really excellent movie. Check it out. And this is Hypothermia. It's a low-budget creature feature movie that has that stars what's his name? Daryl Dixon's brother, Merle Dixon, Michael Rooker, and it has kind of a cameo by Larry Fessenden. He's he kind of plays a comedic role. This movie is excellent, but the creature is pretty ridiculous. The creature does not look good to me. It's almost ridiculous when you see it. But the movie takes place on a frozen lake, and Michael Rooker and his family are they're spending a little quality time together on a cabin that they own on the lake. Michael Rooker's son brings his girlfriend to this outing, and they were going to announce that they're getting engaged, and they're also moving abroad to do some missionary work. I don't remember what country it was in, Africa or something. I don't remember. And while they're spending time on this frozen lake, a father and his son drive in, and they're loud, and they have a lot of money, and they have like a really expensive rig that they drive onto the ice, and they're going to fish on it. It has beds in it, a toilet, a dining room, and bedrooms, and all. I mean, they have like a little mini mansion that they bring on the ice with them, and snowmobiles and stuff like that. Well, all the vibration and the loudness awakens this kind of a serpent type underwater kind of creature from the Black Lagoon type monster that's thirsty for blood, hungry for humans. And I thought this was pretty good for a low budget. This was filmed like a year before Michael Rooker got the gig with The Walking Dead. This came out in 2011, and I think either later in 2011 or early 2012, he got the gig with The Walking Dead. So this was he was not exactly a big name actor, although he was known. He did some other things, but The Walking Dead kind of put him in another stratosphere, right? And then he did some other big things after that. And but I thought this was a fun watch, and it's definitely worthy of a watch. Just to see how bad the creature is, but I think it was a fun time. And the last one is called The Dwarves of Dragon Mountain, and it may not be what it looks like on the cover. There's certainly not an army of warriors, and there's only one shot of a dragon, and that's early in the movie. But what this movie is about, it's a kind of an adventure suspense type movie. These dwarves are in a tunnel, and they're mining for precious metals, and the tunnel caves in, and they find out that they're not alone in this tunnel, and they have to find a way out, and they have to try to survive while they're in there. I'm not going to give anything away, and this is a really low budget movie, but this actually blew me away because I think I bought this at a Dollar Tree a couple of years ago, not expecting much out of it, but I really enjoyed this movie. It's very claustrophobic. It's very dark. The costumes, the characters were pretty believable. For a low-budget movie, I thought this was pretty excellent, and I do recommend all three of these movies. Just something different that you may not have seen before. You probably never even heard of any of these before, but I would give these a watch. All right, guys, it's great to be back. Thank you for tuning in and watching. I do appreciate that. Hope everybody is well out there. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those below. And please, for the love of God, go check out 2 Feet Outdoors. That guy has a great channel. I know you'll love it. Take care. I will see you next time. Later.